Hey there, Smurf fans and foodies. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the delicious tale of one of the most talented Smurfs in the whole village. You guessed it, we're talking about the one and only Chef Smurf. Get ready for a story that's seasoned with ambition, sprinkled with challenges, and baked to perfection. You all know Chef Smurf, right? With his tall white toque and that passion for everything culinary. For as long as anyone can remember, he's been the heart of the Smurf village's kitchen, whipping up delectable Smurfberry pies, savory mushroom stews, and those incredible cakes that make every Smurf's birthday special. His dream wasn't just to cook. It was to create joy, one bite at a time. But recently, Chef Smurf felt a new hunger not for food, but for a challenge. He heard whispers carried on the forest wind about the Great Forest Feast, the most prestigious cooking competition in the entire enchanted land. Chefs from all corners, from gnome kingdoms to pixie hollows, would gather to showcase their ultimate culinary creations. The grand prize? The legendary golden ladle and the title of Forest Feast champion. Just imagine the scene. The competition was to be judged by a panel of the most discerning palates around. A wise old owl known for his sharp taste, a grumpy badger who was notoriously hard to please, and a gentle doe with a love for all things sweet. For Chef Smurf, this was more than a competition. It was the ultimate test of his skills. He announced his intention to Papa Smurf, who gave him a knowing smile and a pat on the back. "Your passion is your greatest ingredient, Chef Smurf," he said. "Cook from the heart, and you can't go wrong." The other Smurfs rallied around him immediately. Brainy Smurf started researching ancient recipes. Farmer Smurf promised him the plumpest, juiciest Smurfberries from his patch, and even grouchy Smurf grumbled, "I hate losing, so you'd better win." It was a village-wide effort. Chef Smurf spent weeks preparing. His little mushroom house became a laboratory of flavors. He experimented day and night, mixing, tasting, and refining. He wanted to create a dish that wasn't just delicious but told a story, the story of the Smurf village, of community, sunshine, and of course, Smurfberries. He decided on a 3-course meal that would capture the very essence of Smurf life. Finally, the big day arrived. The Great Forest Feast was a whirlwind of sights and smells. Goblins were flambeing mysterious meats. Elves were weaving sugar into intricate sculptures, and trolls were roasting giant roots over open fires. Chef Smurf, small but determined, set up his little cooking station, his heart pounding like a drum. He took a deep breath, picturing his friends back in the village, and began to cook. For his appetizer, he prepared Whispering Woods wontons. These were delicate little parcels filled with a mix of wild mushrooms, forest herbs, and a secret Smurf spice blend, served with a dewdrop dipping sauce. They were so light and flavorful, they practically floated off the plate. The judges were intrigued. The grumpy badger even cracked a tiny smile. Next came the main course, the dish he had poured his entire soul into, the Smurfberry Symphony. This was a masterpiece. At its center was a perfectly roasted quail, glazed with a sweet and tangy Smurfberry reduction. It was surrounded by a rainbow of sautéed forest vegetables and a creamy sarsaparilla root mash. The aroma alone was enough to make the entire clearing fall silent. When the judges took their first bite, their eyes widened in disbelief. It was a symphony of flavors, just as he'd named it, a perfect harmony of sweet, savory, and earthy notes. For the grand finale dessert, Chef Smurf presented his Starlight Soufflé. It was a light, airy soufflé made with moonbeam nectar and wild honey, which rose magnificently from his dish. On top, he had placed a single candy starflower that shimmered under the lights. It was delicate, elegant, and tasted like a sweet dream. The doe on the judging panel was so moved, she shed a single happy tear. The judges deliberated for what felt like an eternity. Chef Smurf stood nervously, wiping his sweaty palms on his apron. Finally, the wise old owl hooted for attention. He announced the runner-up, a talented pixie chef. Then, he held up the golden ladle. "And the winner of this year's Great Forest Feast," he boomed, With a meal that captured the heart and soul of the forest, is Chef Smurf. The crowd erupted in cheers. Chef Smurf couldn't believe it. He had done it. He held the golden ladle high, his face beaming with pride. He had not only won for himself but for his entire village. When he returned home, the celebration was unlike anything the village had ever seen. There was music, dancing, and of course, a massive feast prepared by the champion himself. But this victory sparked a new idea in Papa Smurf's mind. "Chef," he said, "your food brings so much happiness. Why limit it to special occasions? The village needs a place where everyone can enjoy your wonderful creations every day." And so, the idea for a restaurant was born. The Smurfs all pitched in. Handy Smurf designed and built a beautiful new mushroom building with a cozy dining room and a state-of-the-art kitchen. Smurfette and Vanity Smurf decorated the interior with beautiful flowers and charming little tables. Brainy Smurf created a menu and Clumsy Smurf, well, he was put in charge of washing the dishes very carefully. They called it the Golden Ladle in honor of his victory. On opening night, the restaurant was packed. Smurfs gathered eagerly, their mouths watering in anticipation. Chef Smurf, now a proud restaurateur, stood in his kitchen, conducting his team like a maestro. The dishes that came out were even more incredible than before. The restaurant became an instant sensation. It wasn't just a place to eat, it became the new heart of the village. It was a place where Smurfs came to celebrate, to catch up with friends, or just to enjoy a quiet, delicious meal. News of the Golden Ladle spread far and wide. Creatures from all over the forest would make the journey just to taste Chef Smurf, as famous Smurfberry Symphony. He became a culinary legend. But even with all the fame, Chef Smurf remained the same humble, passionate cook he always was. For him, the greatest reward wasn't the Golden Ladle or the bustling restaurant. It was seeing the happy, smiling faces of his friends and family as they enjoyed his food. He had truly found his calling, proving that with a little passion and a lot of heart, even the smallest Smurf can achieve the biggest dreams. And that's the wonderful story of how Chef Smurf cooked his way to the top. What a journey, right? It just goes to show you what can happen when you follow your passion. Thanks so much for watching with me today. If you enjoyed this Smurfy story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures from our favorite blue friends. See you in the next video. Bye.